Workplace safety is one of the most important things to maintain on board a ship, as it ensures the well-being of crew members and the integrity of the vessel. The unique environment of a ship presents various challenges, including confined spaces, fluctuating weather conditions, and the presence of flammable materials. Therefore, strict protocols and procedures must be followed to mitigate potential hazards and prevent accidents. Specifically, hot work safety is a critical aspect of maritime operations, given the inherent risks associated with onboard tasks such as welding, cutting, and other activities involving open flames or high temperatures. In this video, we will celebrate the Day of the Seafarer by taking part in this year's campaign, #SafetyTipsAtSea. And in collaboration with Unitor, the most trusted name when it comes to welding equipment, especially in maritime applications, we will focus on hot work safety. If you ask me, the best place to learn about workplace safety is, of course, in school, as this is where we begin building the foundation of our careers. I visited my alma mater, the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, to see firsthand how hot work safety is incorporated in the machine shop subject nowadays, particularly in welding. The Dean of the College of Marine Engineering, Chief Engineer Nan Gimpayan, was gracious enough to walk us through the procedures on how PMMA develops the welding skills of the cadets. In recent years, technology, in the form of simulators, virtual reality, and augmented reality, has played a very big role in enhancing the learning process, and welding is no exception.
Before we let the cadets use the actual welding machine, we give them time to practice using the welding simulator. This way, we can focus on training them in the skills development without worrying about the hazards. Additionally, through this simulator, we can save on the consumption of consumables such as the welding rods and the metal plates.
All personnel involved in hot work must receive adequate training to safely operate the equipment.
With this, we can practice welding without the sparks, as you can see here, and the dangers that is posed when welding in a real welding scenario. That's why we are using the welding simulator.
So before doing the real thing, the cadets are required to practice and hone their skills using the welding simulator. It provides a safe environment for them to learn the rudimentary welding techniques, like the correct work and travel angles, arc length, travel speed, and all the other nuances involved in welding without worrying about hazards or making mistakes. Back in my day, we never had this kind of technology, so it generally took us longer to develop our welding skills, as we had to worry about getting burned or electrocuted, or wasting welding rods and steel plates. These new equipment can definitely make learning and skill development faster for the cadets. We can argue that being highly proficient in welding generally translates to a higher standard of hot work safety, as more efficient techniques will be employed and less mistakes will be made.
After we have assessed that their skills is sufficient or they have passed the assessment of the simulator, that's the only time we let them do or practice on the actual welding machine.
After going through the simulator, the cadets will be ready to go to the workshop and use the actual welding equipment. Safety is of paramount importance, so the first thing that the cadets are taught to do prior to performing any hot work is to conduct a thorough risk assessment in order to identify potential dangers and implement appropriate control measures. This includes ensuring proper ventilation, removing flammable materials from the vicinity, securing, locking, and tagging electrical equipment around the hot work area, and establishing effective communication among crew members. Continuous vigilance is essential throughout the duration of hot work activities, with regular monitoring for any signs of overheating or ignition, especially in the adjacent compartment if welding on a bulkhead. Additionally, designated personnel should be assigned to stand by with firefighting equipment and be prepared to respond swiftly in the event of an emergency. Another important thing to do prior to carrying out any hot work is to complete the hot work permit. A hot work permit gives specific details of how the work has to be performed, where and when it has to be done, who will be the personnel involved, and what precautions have to be taken when it comes to hot work. This includes ensuring that the person who will carry out the hot work is wearing the proper personal protective equipment, or PPE. With regards to welding, the PPE should protect the worker from burn injuries as well as eye injuries. The typical PPE that are used by welders are the following: coveralls and safety shoes, leather spats, leather jacket, welding gloves, welding apron, and of course, welding helmet. Additional safety gear like a welding bandana could also be worn as needed. For cadets who will use the welding machine for the first time, a short briefing on the welding machine's parts is held. This is to further familiarize them on the function of each of the parts and how to properly and safely handle them. Now it's time to put the skills they have practiced in the simulator to the test and apply them on the actual equipment and materials. Apparently, more practice will be needed, but good enough for the first try. The cadets are trained in different types of welding, like electric arc, MIG, and TIG welding.
Meron yan, yung filler niya, yung consumable niya, yung maliit na, maliit na rod. Okay? So,
Training on the use of plasma cutters and oxyacetylene welding and cutting is also conducted. The more equipment that they train with now, the safer it will be for them in the future, as they will already be familiar in their use. Although different types of welding equipment calls for different techniques, they all fall under the category of hot work, and as such, the hazards they generate will more or less be the same. The safety tips we have mentioned in this video are applicable to all of them. Hot work safety holds immense value in any workplace where activities involving open flames, welding, cutting, or other high-temperature processes are conducted. Beyond mere compliance or adherence to regulations, its true worth lies in safeguarding lives, preserving assets, and sustaining operations. Clients, investors, and regulatory bodies view a commitment to safety as a hallmark of professionalism and reliability. By upholding the highest standards of safety, organizations enhance their reputation and credibility in the industry as it demonstrates their unwavering commitment to the well-being of their workforce and the sustainability of their business.